Hello, everyone. My name is Shanat Dorzan, and I am the Venture Acceleration Manager here at Matter. Today, I have the pleasure of talking to you about Matter and explaining to you just exactly how we work with startups to help them build their business and eventually gain traction in the market so that they can be as successful as possible. And so the mission at Matter is to accelerate the pace of change of healthcare. We want to find the latest and greatest innovation and bring it to market as soon as possible so that we can help people. And so we believe that we do that through collaboration, right? So bringing all the right people into the room, from founders, entrepreneurs, to different industry leaders, C-suite folks, people in pharma, people in biotech, whoever needs to be at the table, we like to serve as that neutral platform to bring them all here so that they can engage in those conversations that will allow for the effective acceleration of innovation and ultimately save lives. And so we sit at that community nexus. We have this platform, and we have a community of healthcare innovators from across the world. And we sit at the nexus of that, right? So I like to think of Matter as two sides of the house. We have the startup incubation side, which is where I sit. This is where we work one-on-one with our startups so that they can build their business, raise capital, and eventually gain traction in the market. And then we have the corporate innovation side. So we work with large health organizations so that they can either internally innovate or to source solutions that will help them innovate. So again, we try to serve as that community nexus where we're bringing together startups as well as our corporate partners, bringing them into the same room so that we can facilitate collaboration, pilots, and other types of opportunities. And so we have one of the largest communities of healthcare innovators. So to date, we have worked with over 1,000 startups, 130 industry-leading hospitals, organizations, and universities, and we've helped our startups raise over $5 billion in capital. So to date, we have over 50,000 people within our healthcare community, and we continue to grow every single day. The startups in our startup sector, our sectors for startups are broken down as you see on the right here. So we are mainly digital health, but we do have a smattering of life sciences. So that's therapeutics, diagnostics, and other wellness services. And our partners that we work with kind of follow along the same pattern, where we have a smattering of providers, services, life sciences, associations, foundations, payers, retail clinics, universities, you name it, we've worked with them. And so last year alone, we worked with over 300 startups across 60 different corporate partners in over 20 countries and in 100 cities. And so, this was just a snapshot for 2023. And again, like I mentioned, Matter continues to grow every single day. So we're always adding new startups to our portfolio. We're always adding more mentors, more corporate partners. People understand that we are serving as that community nexus, and we're the go-to folks for anything in healthcare. And this is because we are committed to equity, right? So not just DEI in terms of the staff that we have in background, identity, and all that, but mainly health equity. So we are seeking out solutions that are dedicated to bridging the gap in health equity that we see, and also increasing access for those who might not have it. And again, this is just a smattering of all the industry leaders that we have worked with over the past almost 10 years that we've been in existence. All right, and so the Matter member experience. So if you have a startup and you would like to grow, but you're looking for different resources, perhaps some mentorship in which to help you, this is where you come, right? And so we have two different tiers of membership, but the tier of membership that I'm going to be talking about is our select member experience, and that is our most inclusive set of resources. And so the way that we approach helping our startups is really focusing on these three pillars that you see here. So building your business capabilities, right? So that includes the building blocks to making sure that your business is solid, as well as mentorship, giving you access to experts who will be able to instruct you on how best to go about building that business, raising capital, and then eventually gaining traction in the market. We know that when entrepreneurs start their startup journey, that these are the pitfalls that they typically fall into. And so we've taken the time to build out these resources to make sure that you can avoid those pitfalls, if at all. And so this, when you want to start your entrepreneur journey with Matter, this is essentially the timeline that you'll follow. So you'll apply online. Once, if you pass the first round of the application phase, you'll be invited for an interview. This is where I will ask you about your business, about the stage of your company, what you're trying to achieve in the next 3 to 6 months, understanding what pain points and challenges that you might be facing, just so that I can get a better sense for you, your company, but also so that I know and can identify which resources would be best for you should you accept your membership. I'll take all that information and I send it up to leadership, who then makes the final decision on who gets into the portfolio or not. But once accepted, you'll do onboarding, you'll complete a bunch of paperwork, and then right after that, you'll have a discovery session with me and my team. So this discovery session is a session for us to really get to know you, right? So the interview, I'll dig in a little bit, but in the discovery session, we go deep, right? And so really truly understanding all the aspects of your business and where our resources best fit where your challenges are at the moment. We'll have you complete an assessment that will spit out a personalized roadmap for you. So depending on where you are with your company, you'll fill out this assessment and then it will curate a recommended list of all of our resources. And that includes the experts to talk to, the articles to read, the workshops to engage in. And then it'll give you that roadmap so that you can walk through and access everything that you need in a timely manner. And then you continue to build. And so as you continue to build, mentorship is one of the biggest things that we find that is most useful for our startups. And so we provide this in a number of ways. The first way is an executive in residence. So every member in our select portfolio within the select membership gets paired with an executive in residence or an EIR. So whatever in that discovery session where I ask you about the challenges you're facing, the biggest challenges that you might have, let's say go-to-market strategy, right? Like figuring what that out, identifying customers. If that is your main focus for the next 3 to 6 months, we will pair you with an executive in residence that has expertise in that strategy. And that way they can provide that guidance for you. Not only that, we have our expert clinic. So you might be focused on go-to-market strategy, but you might need to talk to someone to understand your reimbursement strategy, right? And so we have experts in our expert clinic, over 100 at this point, that have they're subject matter experts across different healthcare topics. And so you can think of this as a bit of office hours, right? So you can find some time, book it with them, come and ask whatever questions that you might need specifically about that topic that you're looking to get a bit more information on. You'll take all that information back to your executive in residence, and then you'll continue to refine and optimize your strategy that way. And finally, you also get help from Matter. I serve as the account manager for all of our members in our select portfolio. And so whatever question that you might have, whatever concern that you might have, you feel free to email me and ask that question. I am here to make sure that you are progressing along your journey in a timely fashion and ensuring that you meet all the milestones that you need to meet. And so our fundraising support, we have a robust fundraising strategy, a robust fundraising program that we have built out over the last year, right? And so really the way that this works, you'll work with my colleague Elle, as well as two venture acceleration fellows. Now, these fellows are serial entrepreneurs, right? So they've been where you are, but more importantly, they are investors themselves. And so they know exactly what they want to see from startups who are pitching to them, and they coach our startups in order to do that. And so once you work with them as many times as necessary in order to get investor ready. And then once you are investor ready, we then start putting you in front of the 24 VC firms that we work with on a preferred basis. And so these firms, they range from angel, early stage investments, all the way to Series B. And so if there is any interest from the VC party, we try to facilitate those conversations. Not only that, we also have a database of over 250 investors within our network. And so on a quarterly basis, we send them a newsletter saying, hey, these are the startups that are fundraising in our portfolio right now. And again, if there's any interest from the VCs in any of the startups that we put forth, we then facilitate those conversations and really try to help you to manage those conversations, because working with investors is all about building relationships, right? So it's not just a single meeting, but really wanting to make sure that you are engaged with that investor and that the conversations are happening appropriately. And then we also have a lot of on-demand resources. So these are the building blocks to help you build out your business. And so we have the digital curriculum and the knowledge library, and these have verticals such as product development, fundraising, sales, regulatory help, right? And so all these different verticals, we have in the digital curriculum, we have 150 modules in these different verticals that talk to you about how to prepare to fundraise. If you are going to apply for an SBIR grant, right? We have a module that walks you through that process. And the same for the knowledge library. And here, again, the same verticals, but you have resource guides, templates, frameworks that you can use to really build your business. So perhaps you've never created a cap table before, right? You can download our template, work from that, and then build on it. We also have a professional services directory. So we know that you don't have all the time in the world and you might want to outsource some of your work. And so we've done the job for you in vetting 50 vendors across consulting firms, law firms, different services that we know startups are going to need. We have personally vetted these vendors to make sure that they work well with startups, but also price well with startups. And so everyone in our professional services directory has committed to giving our members a 15% discount off of their services. We also, again, the expert clinic, so those office hours I was talking about, you can do that through our member portal here. And then finally, we have Team Up. And so we've partnered with MDisrupt to offer up this service where if you need to expand your team or you're looking for a fractional position, you can complete this application and then they will go out and source those folks for you. So they'll bring back 3 to 5 candidates for you to evaluate. You can interview them, you can talk to them, and if there's anyone that you would like to hire, then they handle all of the back office work for you. So they make sure that the contract is in place, that everyone is getting paid appropriately. You don't have to worry about it. All you have to do is focus on getting that talent integrated into your team and then continuing to build. And you'll be joining a dynamic community of innovators, right? And so as a select member, you'll get access to select member exclusive opportunities. And these include webinars that we have twice a month where we invite experts from the field, depending on whatever is happening in healthcare, some trends, or topics that we know startups want to learn more about. So for instance, CPT coding, right? Reimbursement strategies, things like that. We invite people to come talk to our startups specifically about that to help inform on their strategies. And then you'll get access to different panels, roundtables, different opportunities that come our way that we really want to increase the visibility for our startups too.
Yep, there in a minute.
We also offer a headquarters away from home, right? And so we know that not everyone is in Chicago, right? Matter has grown to be a global organization, but if you are ever in town for a conference, maybe you have an investor meeting here, our facility serves as the headquarters away from home. So you can co-work out of this space, and then you can also reserve conference rooms for those meetings if you should have them. And then, of course, you'll get access to our Slack channel. So you'll get access to our general Slack channel with our entire network, but then you'll get access to our private Slack channels just for our select members so that you can talk to and interface with other founders in our network. And so, like I mentioned before, those are that was the select membership. We do offer two tiers. The select membership here is $400 a month, and it includes everything that I've talked about up until this point. We do not take any equity from the companies that we work with. We have a unique model where our startups pay for access to these resources. There are no additional fees, and this is all month to month. So long as we are of service to you, we want to be working with you. So long as if you have grown to the point beyond our capacity, or maybe you've graduated from all the resources that we have, then that's what we want. We want to help you innovate as quickly as possible so that you can get to market as quickly as possible. But you might not be at the point where you can take advantage of all of these resources, right? And so, especially if you're just starting out, maybe you are a serial entrepreneur, but you've never had a startup in healthcare, right? And so you need to brush up a bit more on the healthcare aspect of things. And that's why we created Flex. This membership is supposed to be more flexible. Huh? See what we did there? But again, we don't take any equity. There's no additional fees, and it's all month to month. I like to think of this as the Netflix of our resources, right? So you'll have access to the digital curriculum. You can watch all the modules that you need to watch in order to get up to snuff about what is going on in healthcare today. I will be more than happy to take any questions right now, but I do want to thank you all for taking the time of joining me today.
Hi. So
Okay.
what is the, I guess, ideal company for your program?
Yeah, that's a great question. So ideally, um, we are we are stage agnostic, right? So we work with really early stage companies all the way up to Series B, right? So there's no particular stage that you must be in order to be a good fit for our portfolio. But I will say that a lot of our resources are geared towards early stage startups. So more so like pre-seed, seed round raising, I think Series A folks do pretty well here. But the advice that I typically give to startups is that, if you're not ready to take advantage of all the mentorship and the fundraising opportunities that we have, especially because using those resources, they do take time and effort. So if you don't quite have the capacity to do that yet, then you can, I would recommend folks do the Flex membership. And then as you work through those resources, as you get to yourself to the point where you can utilize that mentorship, that hands-on with the fundraising help, things like that, then you can move on to the select membership. And with that, that completes the presentation.